All right, hold on. I remember when he went to Phoenix, but was he really dominating?
Here's the thing, Ken. Here's the thing.
Help me out, Rod.
Here's the thing that you missing, man. Here's what I tell people all the time. Penny had a certain confidence that you just could, that was undeniable, bro.
And it wasn't a dog.
It wasn't like a dog.
Yeah.
It was just like, dog, you can't guard.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing we have to keep in mind is that, and we talked about it on the show, but at the same time, it comes from two different points.
Then all of a sudden, he want to say, oh, well, you know,
I think for me, I don't know if I can speak for everybody else.
This is DeadEndSports.
All right, we back with another video, man. We're still talking NBA. Make sure you guys catch us every Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Blogtalkradio, blogtalkradio.com/DeadEndSports. If you miss it, if you can't catch us live, you can always subscribe, and I suggest you do that. Subscribe to iTunes, to the podcast on iTunes, so you can listen on demand, whatever you want to. Leave us a rating also. We on Stitcher, we on SoundCloud, we on all those places as well. Yeah. Make sure you subscribe, please, to the videos, and sign up for our newsletter too, so we can keep you up to date on everything that we're doing, because we're about to ramp up production on a couple of things, and all the social networks, the socials. Anyway, joined here by FIFO. Smartest man
305
that nobody knows,
because he got the glasses.
And yeah,
only because of the glasses. Sports, that's why he's smart.
He can make you think that he's right about everything, even when he's wrong. Speaking of wrong, we got 12 counts.
One of the greatest sports minds in sports and entertainment right now.
And Kyle's dad's favorite person on the show, BZ430, man.
Right.
He says BZ430 gets everything right.
I don't know why.
Right. I know my stuff. You know what I'm saying?
We do know his stuff.
Yeah, B be on point, man. He got the finals correct last year. I'll give him that. I was holding out hope, but it's whatever, man. Speaking of holding out hope, there were a lot of NBA players, man, that we thought had nets. And for a while, they showed us that they had nets. But unfortunately, the injuries came in, wiped them out. So that's what we're going to talk about in this particular video today, this topic. So B, give us a list. Who do you have?
Well, of course, the two obvious I'm going to name first, Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill. Right. Bernard King. Ooh. Ralph Sampson. Tracy Mcgrady. I felt he was staggered by injuries. A lot of people, Lonzo Mourning, I think certain points of his career, I think if he didn't have injuries in a certain amount of years, I think he could have had a much...
Especially in real life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's big.
So, I threw Lonzo Mourning in there. Reggie Lewis, which we all know what happened. Reggie Lewis. Right. And this is my sleeper. This is my sleeper. FIFO, you better appreciate this dude, because this is a point guard. Terrell Brandon from the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
That was my sleeper. Yeah.
You don't remember Terrell Brandon?
You don't remember Terrell Brandon?
Yeah, he came into the league. What year? He came into the league like ready. And I was surprised. I didn't know he was gonna be that damn ready, because he was like 15 to 17 points already, like as a rookie, and he was real close to double-digit assists as well. He could shoot, had a floor game, pick and roll, very high IQ.
Injury slowed him down.
Yeah.
I think he would have, because he came in like when Rod Strickland was, when both of them was like balling. So yeah.
What year was that?
I don't remember. It was the early 90s.
It was like right after the Mark Price era kind of finished. Like that's when Terrell Brandon was in. But yeah, that's my 8 players that I had named. So if there's anybody that I forget, I can say it one more time: Penny Hardaway, Grant Hill, Lonzo Mourning, Bernard King, Ralph Sampson, Tracy McGrady, Reggie Lewis, and Terrell Brandon.
I think a modern day one that you could add to that list, and it's another point guard, I think it's kind of obvious, as was Derrick Rose. Because we're talking about, 2-3 years removed, he was the MVP.
Yeah, he was on the brink of being one of the best in the NBA.
Exactly. Right. He was on the brink of being like, yo, I'm the best point guard, arguably. Because there's so many.
All these years that LeBron had won these MVPs was just looking at as the, here come this point guard, Derrick Rose has come in and just knock all that out.
And isn't it interesting, right? Like this year that Steph Curry won it, and it's kind of almost like Derrick Rose beginning of the season. Media, they ask him like, hey, so do you think you're the best offensive player? Yeah, I'm the best. Like, this, that. And I know I was looking at stuff like he's a little crazy, but going back to D Rose, it was kind of the same thing. They were like, oh, so who do you think is the MVP? He's like, well, me. Right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I love you. I'm from Chicago. I'm like, okay, he a little, but then he balled out. Right. And then three, not one, not two, but three devastating knee injuries. And for him to just finish out these playoffs, I was happy for him. He had big moments. He shows flashes, but I've held out for him to try to be that physical monster that he was, and I don't know. I don't know if he can be. I still have hope because I'm a fan. I'm a big D Rose fan. I still have hope he can be Russell Westbrook like in his recovery, but I don't know. But I'm just happy that you saw that he's still great, but. Like, I think that his career has definitely been derailed because of these injuries.
Yeah. You mentioned Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill. Let's start with Penny, man. I mean, like, that team, and we talked about it a little earlier, the 95 team with Shaq and Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson. I mean, like, that team was on the cusp, and they ran into your Rockets.
Yes, sir.
And got swept. But you're talking about a young Shaq. And there was... there was obviously some rift between Shaq and Penny, but if Penny, I mean, he was 6'7", 6'8", could handle, could shoot. I mean, he could do it all. Knee injury, and he, even though he kind of rebuilt his career when he went out to Phoenix or what have you, he was never the same. I think, man, if Penny Hardaway didn't get hurt, man, I mean, we could be talking about him as one of the all-time.
I feel the same way about Grant Hill too.
But you know how we were talking about how the NBA culture has changed?
Right.
I think one of the reasons why those two guys weren't able necessarily to rebound was because of that culture, because being tough and coming back from injury. Like Grant Hill especially, he came back way too fast, too many times. And I think Penny too, I think he rushed it a little bit. Because we gave flack to D Rose for taking a year off, but what if Penny would have took the year off? Maybe he would have had a different career trajectory, you know what I'm saying?
And do you think that medicine, modern day science,
of course, it's way better now. Of course, yeah. So, you know, like that's what's on these guys' side.
But to your point though, even those teams back then, Grant Hill, he couldn't have afforded to take, his team couldn't have afforded him to take a whole year off.
But he had T-Mac. When he got hurt, he was in Orlando. Right?
We traded him at the right time.
Exactly, we traded him at the right time.
In Detroit, and it kind of affected y'all.
No, that was the last he played with us because he had one of his best statistical years in 2000. We went to the playoffs. I think we lost to Miami then with Tim Hardaway now.
Right.
And we traded him, brought in Stackhouse. And
No, you know Stackhouse and
they was together. We traded him out. Who we get? We got somebody, and that's what started that run we had in the 2000s. But yeah, we traded him off, and he started having those injuries. And it was perfect time.
Yeah. So I think that Grant Hill could have took a year off. And granted, nobody knew that T-Mac was gonna be what T-Mac became. Exactly. Nobody knew he was gonna average 30-something a game. Like, I didn't know that. I knew he was good, but damn, nobody knew that. But I still think that Grant Hill, these guys could. But again, the culture was different. I get hurt, I'm coming back. You know what I'm saying? So, and then medicine, to your point as well, wasn't as advanced back then as it is now. So these guys have advantages. But you know, talking a little bit about T-Mac, man, that dude right there.
That was my dude for a minute. Like you could put T-Mac up against damn near anybody in the league at that time, and he would go to work. I want to go back to Anthony Hardaway, man, because he had nets. Like they really put him out there.
It was him, Grant Hill, and who else? Like they was gonna be like that. The next perimeter, those perimeter dudes. You know what I'm saying? You're right. You make a good point.
He never really did much for me when I watched him play. What? And maybe it was just his. That's why I'm gonna need some help. Yeah, you need some help. And maybe maybe it was the hater in me. No, I seen him play, but was he just too smooth when he played or something?
He was.
It was that.
You know what it is? And what's his name? Isaiah Thomas talked about this. And he talked about it when he drafted Tracy Mcgrady. I think Penny had a lot of this. He said a lot of times when you watch him play, it looked like they wasn't trying.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was just too easy. And he's trying, but he's just too smooth, too easy. It just comes with a natural grace that, you know, like, because Penny was smooth. He was flashy, but it was just too easy. I could get a step back three on you. I could get this jump shot. Oh, I'm gonna just throw this no look. It was just too easy.
I would look up because I remember because I watched him play in the finals, and I would look up and he would have numbers. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
He can play. He can put up numbers, but I wasn't buying what they were selling me.
I think that probably
they were like he was supposed to take Jordan's part.
But did that speak to
maybe that was
his lack of personality off the court? Because I remember Barkley saying that the little Penny doll was more more personable than Penny was.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because you didn't really buy into him because he wasn't like just out there.
Now I'll keep it 100. When I'm watching, when people are like, yeah, Penny this, I'm like, man, he alright. Like I see you play, I'm like, he alright. He wasn't that flashy to me. He didn't seem like he dominated the game that much to me. And maybe because he played with Shaq a lot, I thought that he benefited a lot from playing with Shaq.
No, of course, but Shaq benefited a lot from playing with him. And the thing, that whole squad, look, he was the key to that squad.
Did he though?
Yes,
he was the most dominated player in the NBA.
But
benefited from Penny.
Penny still balled even after he left Orlando. That's the thing.
Did he?
Yes.
He got
when he went to Phoenix.
He got injured.
All right, hold on. I remember when he went to Phoenix. Or was he really dominating?
Here's the thing, Ken. Here's the thing.
Help me out, Rod.
Here's the thing that you listen, man. Here's what I tell people all the time. Penny had a certain confidence that you just could, that was undeniable. Right?
And it wasn't a dog.
It wasn't like a dog.
Yeah.
It was just like, dog, you can't guard.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody else. Who else you got? Because it was somebody else that caught my attention.
Was it Bernard King?
Why didn't you have Sam Bowie there?
Right.
I thought about that.
You know, because coming out of college, man, this dude.
But we didn't see him.
But I've gone back. You know, I've gone back. And because you had Ralph Sampson, as soon as you saw Ralph Sampson, I thought Sam Bowie. Because Sam Bowie was that guy until them last 2 years in college and going to the, you know, we know, but he was a baller though.
Yeah,
if you think about Sam Bowie, Bowie's injuries changed the face of the franchise for Portland and Chicago.
Yep.
Because if Portland drafts Jordan, who knows what happens?
Right.
And the fact that they didn't draft Jordan, you know, they didn't benefit and actually ended up losing to Jordan in the finals.
Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, hey, look, okay. Look.
Age of 0.
Yes, because Gilbert was honestly he was one of my favorite players for like 3-4 years. He was in my top 3.
Especially the gun stuff that just kind of I thought they blackballed him once he did the gun stuff.
But then he had that knee injury, and then that was it. Because you can come back from an image thing if you're healthy and dropping 50.
Right.
But then he got that knee injury, and he was
like,
out of the league.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest.
He also singled himself.
I'm gonna be honest. He ain't really do that much for me. Like you, and that's not to take away from his talent. I'm just talking about like for me. Like when I watched him play, he didn't just blow me away.
I disagree with you. Real talk, because he took the personal challenge of every great. Like because Washington and Cleveland every year they always met each other in the playoffs.
Right. And
Gilbert always stepped up. And throughout the regular season when he played Kobe, LeBron, it didn't matter. So even after that, he was in the second round. Yeah. He was a second round draft pick. That's the reason why he wore number 0, because none of y'all first round teams took me. And then he didn't get that much. And the team he was drafted by, he played behind Baron Davis and Matt Barnes on that squad. And then once they got rid of Baron, and then he just took over. And then Don Nelson didn't know what to do with him. So then they traded him. And then
Baron Davis is another one too.
Yeah, he is another one.
He is another one.
He is another one.
Yes.
He is another one.
That dude was nasty.
Yes.
Steve Francis, was that another one? Would you put him at injury? Remember Steve Francis was like that dude that he used to
like this. My favorite version of Steve Francis was in Maryland. I loved him in Houston, but in Maryland, boy, because look, I loved young Kobe more so than I did older Kobe, because I liked because I felt like the younger Kobe had more of his own game in his game, more so than Jordan. And I get it, because when you retire, you're not athletic like that. So he relied on the fadeaway and all of that. I get that. But that time with I think Steve Francis and Kobe had that crossover where they perfected that AI rock, and oh my, you just couldn't stop them, dude. They would rock you. You jump way over here, and they dunking. Man, yo.
Baron Davis had 6 handles too.
He did.
Man,
He did.
Baron Davis had some 6
You know the thing I loved about Baron Davis? And like growing up, I took this from him because you know I'm not tall at all, but I'm a little stocky for my size. Was how he used to use his body position and his strength and get that shoulder into you so I can get my shot. Baron Davis was very. But was he derailed though? Because I feel like he still had a pretty
He had a very
those
good
knees
career.
too.
Knees and back problems.
Yao Ming,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yao Ming is good.
Yao Ming really.
That's what I was about to say. That was my next one.
Yao
outside of
Ming
Gilbert.
probably could be playing today if he wasn't, you know.
Nah. When you're that tall, your career is.
I think the game would have became too fast for him.
But I mean, Yao is what? He's in his early 30s.
He was like 7'3" or something.
Is he not in his early 30s now?
No. I don't know how old y'all.
I don't know,
Y'all
man.
came
But
into
y'all had game, man. And him and T-Mac, were crazy, man.
They never got past the first
They never got past the first
He never
round.
got
I
out
know,
the first
man.
round?
Nah.
Y'all mean never got out of the
They never got the first
Crazy,
round.
man.
Nah.
Never.
That's just 8, maybe in a couple Rod threw in, and Ralph. Let us know, man. Who do we miss out? Because I know there are players that we miss out. So that's gonna do it for us, man. We're gonna wrap it up, and one thing I gotta say is, stop throwing shade at CP3, man. That's all.
I just said he lost a little step from young CP.
See you guys in the comment section.